When it comes to overwhelm, it comes in different areas. There's sensory overwhelm, where many of us are sensitive to noise, light, things like that, where we can feel extremely overwhelmed. The other aspect is the energy of others that we often pick up on, which can feel quite overwhelming if they are feeling anxious, and this energy that we absorb and pick up on. And then the third most common is this sense of giving to others, where we feel that we give when others have expectations of us, and that's probably one of the most draining or challenging that people are facing. How do we deal with that aspect of feeling overwhelmed when it comes to giving to others, or understanding how to face it when others are asking so much of us? And the thing with us as highly sensitive people is that we tend to have very poor boundaries. We're very forgiving and we're very caring, which is a beautiful aspect of the trait. But on the flip side, it means that we often have very poor boundaries for ourselves. So when we see someone that has expectations of us, we struggle to say no. And so that's one of our biggest downfalls as sensitive people, is that because we're very forgiving, we sometimes make excuses for people. And that can sometimes turn into enabling others to allowing them to behave in this way, in thinking that it's okay to demand things from other people. So making excuses for others is something that we so commonly do, and we have to be really, really aware and careful of. So our sense of forgiveness and caring is such a beautiful thing, and it's actually our superpower, is the way I see it. It's our superpower because there is so much that we have to offer the world with this caring nature that we have, this wanting to give, but being selective about who we give to is the main focus and a big challenge that we face. It is our superpower in the sense that we have the ability to change the world in so many ways. Some of the biggest influencers in society were highly sensitive people, which you may or may not know. Princess Diana, Gandhi, Mother Teresa. These were all highly sensitive people who made a difference in the world. So it comes to show that we have so much ability and we have so much potential to give in the right places, but the mistake we make sometimes is that we give in the wrong places. We give towards people who often will end up taking advantage of us, and it's not up to them, it's up to us to create the boundaries and be selective of it. Because what ultimately ends up happening is that we end up overgiving to the wrong places and there's nothing left to give to the right places. So it's almost a bit of a waste of our talents and our gifts. So what's the solution to all this? Boundaries. And what's the solution to the other aspects of overwhelm? Also boundaries in different ways. But just for the sake of this topic, I'll be covering more about boundaries in relation to overgiving, because that's what I see is one of the biggest challenges for us as highly sensitive people. So how do we set boundaries? How do we say no? We need to connect to our own needs. We're so conscious of other people's needs that we end up being so neglectful of our own needs. So we need to be really crystal clear on our own needs and give them the value and respect that they deserve. We put other people first. We need to stop putting ourselves first. And it doesn't mean being neglectful or uncaring. And that's why so many of us end up feeling so much guilt surrounding that. We feel that by saying no, that it's not a caring act, when in actual fact, what you need to give others will not come from the right place if you don't care for yourself first. And one thing that we also are not clear about sometimes is that others do not need us in the way that we think they do. We think that if we say no, that we're going to in some way ruin them or they won't be able to survive because we're not around for them for whatever reason. We think that other people rely on us, and that might be the case. Maybe some people are relying on us, but that in itself is another reason for this necessity to set boundaries. Because if other people think that they need you to survive, that's not healthy for them either. It's not healthy for you, and it's not healthy for them. So setting those boundaries is not only benefiting you, but it's benefiting them in the long run. And we all need this reminder sometimes as the guilt kicks in. We all need that reminder that we need to allow them to stand on their own 2 feet. Right, so the other thing is, why do we feel guilty? So that's one aspect of why we might feel guilty, that we feel that they need us. And the other aspect that's quite common, and from what I've seen, is that is being on the receiving end of manipulation or gaslighting from someone else, or someone's telling you that you're being selfish for putting your needs first. And of course, they won't say it in that way. They'll say that you're not caring, or you're being selfish for not caring about them and not giving into what they want you to do. So dealing with the guilt aspect for us, especially as HSPs who are very caring and see the good in others and want to give and don't want to upset people, that's one of the biggest challenges that I've seen and that I've experienced as well in the past. So I hope this gives you enough to reflect on, and I'm open to receiving any questions. Just drop me a DM if you have any, and otherwise I just wish you a lovely rest of your weekend. Take care, everyone.